Welcome to another episode of Go Central, live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. We're with you every Monday night at 8, and we are featuring tonight Central Private, the new Central Private school. Of course, Central Private's been around for a long time, but they're in a new facility, and it's Gordy Rush and Dave Furneaux here interviewing with Brother Robert Martin, head of school, Dennis Lorio, athletic director, and Brendan Easley, board member, who's overseeing the new construction. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I guess maybe the best thing to start with, and maybe Brendan, this would be your expertise. Can you give us a little history of the school? You've been around longer than these guys have.
Well, way to start me off on the spot, Dave. No. No, so the school was started in 1967. We just celebrated our 50 years a couple years ago, 2017. And on the 49th year, obviously, we were hit with the flood. So the school is K through 12. Like I say, it's been around for 50 some odd years now. And I'm not sure what other interesting facts would be there. We participated in the MAIS, LISA years ago. And then in 1992, they moved to the Mississippi Independent School Association. And then 2 years ago, I guess this is will be our third year competing in the LHSAA for sports.
So what did it mean for? It might be the question. Yeah, I'm still getting that echo. Having a bit of a technical problem. Okay, Brendan's muted. Brendan has actually just got off a track hoe at his farm and is kind of out in the sticks, so he's not going to be able to give us video tonight. I forgot to mention that, and we are getting a little feedback loop with him, so he's going to mute whenever he's not talking. Well, Dennis, just picking up on that. What did it mean for this group to start playing in LHSAA?
Well, actually, I was at Central Private in 79, 80, and 81 when we were in LISA. And we've had a lot of success over the years in LISA and in Mississippi Private School Association. And so the complicating factor was the travel, because we were playing a lot of games on the road. Friday night's not too bad during football, but when you get to basketball, baseball, other sports, softball, if you're driving all over Mississippi on a Tuesday night and getting home late, that can be a problem for schools. So the change was made 2 years ago. We had to qualify. You have to be a member for a year before you can compete for playoff honors. And so last year was our first year competing for honors. We had a lot of success across the board. I kind of feel like Brother Robert ought to talk more about the school to begin with, and then I'll talk about athletics unless you feel otherwise.
No, that's fine. This is your school, your show.
Well, before, I just want to say Brother Robert and the board did a great job of navigating the challenges last year. Our coaches, the student athletes, and the parents, we had very little problem. We followed the protocols, we modified some things, and we operated as normal school-wise, and we were very cautious and had very few problems. So that's a testament to the administration and all the people that made those decisions. So I'll defer to Brother Robert to talk about the school, and let me know when you want me to cover something on athletics from last year and so forth.
Okay, I'll take care of it. My name's Dave.
Dave, this is Brennan.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm going to unmute just for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As he was talking, I thought about some of the other things that I think would be important for everybody to know. I know I said when the school started in 67, but the next major event for the school was 2008 when Central got their own school district, which was great for the community of Central, but not so much at first for Central Private. I think I wasn't there at the time. That was right before I got there for the second time. I graduated Central Private in 1991, but the Central schools opened. I want to say they went from 560 or 70 kids down to right around 300 kids over one summer, which when all your revenue, or 95% of your revenue comes from tuition, that was a huge blow. And so the school, in my eyes, has really had three kind of bursts. And one was when it was born in 67, and second was in 2008. It had to go through some major changes to get through the central schools opening. Since then, it's been a combination of things I think have got the numbers headed back in the right direction. We were up to about 476 from down around 300 in 08, back to 476, I think, the day of the flood in 2016. So, and then that would be the third iteration of the school, if you would, that, you're finally getting back up on your feet. And then that happened. And I think from that event, from the flood, we were knocked back down to, I'm going to say 375, maybe 390, somewhere in there in 2016. So went to school in Zora Baptist and Central. Brother Mark would have to help me. I'm drawing a blank. The church on Sullivan across from Pat's, First Central Community Church. And those two churches held two parts of our students, and then the remaining students were able to stay in one building on campus. And we did that from Labor Day of that year all the way through March the 15th of 2017. We were able to move into the temporary campus on the existing campus at Centera Court. And since then have climbed back to, I think last year we finished just over 400. I'll let Brother Martin talk about some of the numbers of where we are now in a minute. But through that whole process, and a lot of people don't know how close we came to closing in 2016 after the flood. We did not have flood insurance due to cost saving measures, quite honestly. It was a teacher's salary or more really to have flood insurance. So they had opted not to. And but anyway, everything worked out. We were able to get connected with some people and take advantage of some FEMA grants. And one was a temporary facility grant, which I think that current facility on our Centera Court campus, all the temporary facilities there, total about $3.5 million, getting it all done in the time they did and getting us back in by March. And then from there, we were able to do a damage assessment on the existing campus buildings that were left after the flood. And they wrote a project worksheet for that with all the damages for a little over $12 million. So when we got that money, then we started trying to make decisions. Did it make sense to build back in a flood-prone area where we are on Centera Court? And a lot of people don't know. They think all the buildings flood all the time. It's not the buildings that flood so much. It's the road getting back there. Obviously in 16, the buildings all flooded, but that was not a normal occurrence. Obviously, the road flood. So anyway, we were able to make the decision and work with a local landowner there that I met with and was gracious enough to sell us some property that, we think is a game changer for us. We're not even in a flood zone where the buildings are, much more exposure. And so still targeting for a move-in date of August the 16th, although Mother Nature is not cooperating too well right now. But anyway, I wanted to back up and kind of give a little bit more of the history of where we are with the new campus and how we got there more than I did a minute ago. So with that, unless you have anything else, I'll let Brother Martin go from there.
Martin, I'd love to hear, if take me as a new parent or someone new to the area, how would you present Central Private? What's your mission statement, and through your eyes, how would you present this?
Well, we're working to cultivate college-ready students in a faith-nurturing, faith-based environment. So we we feel like that we're working on all of those aspects. The faith-based, obviously being a minister myself, we focus on that aspect of the kid's life, but also the educational. We're working hard to improve the academics of our school. Our ACT scores are up. Our graduates and what they have earned via scholarships for our seniors this past year was very high. So we're trying to work on every aspect. We want to be a holistic school. We want to touch every aspect of a student's life. Our numbers are up. We are approximately 480 currently. We feel like we have a good chance of bumping 500, which would be great from where we have been. I know the new school is a big part of that, but also I think there's excitement about the different things that are going on in the school, the different aspects of the school. We are targeting academics, we're targeting athletics, we're targeting the faith-based, a safe, nurturing environment. It's a good family atmosphere, but we're not just stuck in a family atmosphere. We're becoming more versatile, trying to reach as many people as possible with what we have to offer. We feel like that we're strategically placed and strategically located in this area of the city. There's obviously a lot of schools in this area, public schools, and I think there are a lot of people nowadays are looking toward the private school because of the different things that are happening, some not so positive in the public school arena, different things happening in society, happening in life, happening and challenging people's faith and so forth. So we feel like that we can capitalize on that. We can reach out to different aspects of society and of this area and surrounding areas and offer something to kids that are looking for those things and parents that are looking for those things. We have come a long way. I had a child here from first grade. He graduated in 2016. So whatever year that would have been as a first grader. And then I had another son who graduated last year, or this year, I should say. I have a daughter graduating next year. And before my son, the first son, had a nephew who went here and graduated. So we've got a long tie. I've taught here for about 4 years prior to today. I taught, I guess, 2.5, maybe close to 3 years before having this particular position. I think I coined something a year ago or so that we're soaring to new heights together. So we feel like all the challenges that Brennan mentioned, which were challenges that put us on the edge of not, as he said, not even having a school here, but we've come through the flames, we've come through the waters, we've come through the flood, and now we are strategically located to be able to better affect this area with this environment of the private school.
All right, Brother Martin, tell me about this new school. We've been seeing the drawings and the signs are out there, and I know there's been a lot of buzz about it.
All right, let me just start with it, and then Brennan can address it because Brennan is working fiercely every day. He's got many jobs, one of which is overseeing the new school. But I want to just say that I went by there today, actually. I go by 3 or 4 times a week and just kind of look and admire what's being done. It's going to take us to a whole new level. First class, state-of-the-art facility. We're going to move this year, hopefully mid-August, depending again on the weather. The building itself isn't the issue. That will be done. It's on schedule. The problem is the rain and the possibility of not being able to get all of our parking done in time. But we're still in the process of working on all those things, and Brendan can tell you more about that. But let me just say that we're going to move middle school and high school there this year. So from grades 6 through 12, we'll move to the new property, and it's amazing. You'd have to go through it. I'd be glad to give you guys a tour of it. But it's just amazing what all is going to be in the facility. So that building, and then a gym, a brand new gym. We're always glad to say it's air conditioned because of what we have been having here. There's going to be a first class wood floor air conditioned gym, state of the art again. And that's about three months behind. So the intention is to be in that sometime in October. So this part, the elementary, we have a capital campaign going on now So hopefully when we can raise enough money, we can start the process of moving the elementary over there too. So the big vision is to have everything over there. There's enough property to have the middle school wing, elementary wing, have all of the athletic facilities out there as well. So that's the big plan, and Brendan can tell you more about that, all that part of it.
Well, let me flip it over to Dennis for just a minute. So, where will you play? What sports, and will there be a football stadium at the new campus?
All of those things are on the drawing board, and pending funding, they will happen. The question is when. And so, for the time being, we're planning on using our existing athletic facilities, and that date is to be determined. It's not if, it's when it's going to happen. It's just a question of exactly when those numbers come together and that move is made. So it's going to happen. We're just waiting to know when.
So, but all your things that happen in the gym will transition over as soon as your new gym's finished, right? Basketball.
Well, we're planning on volleyball being in the current facility because of the gym not being ready till a little bit later. We're hoping that by basketball, early November, that we'll move basketball and move to the new gym, but it's just those things are out of our hands in terms of the weather and the completion dates and deliveries and certain pieces of the beam missing and those kind of things. But I know Brennan and everybody's got that under control. We're trying to deal with our kids and our coaches and get all our plans ready, and promise you when it's ready, we'll figure out how to get over there quickly. We're looking forward to having the school over there, and having an air-conditioned gym is going to be a huge upgrade.
Well, Brennan, they've been mentioning your name a lot. You ready to jump in and kind of fill in some of those blanks?
No, yeah, certainly. So as Coach said, and Brother Martin, I guess just to back up a little bit further, Dave, just so everybody's clear, is that we bought the current campus sits on about 23 acres, I think, on Centera Court. We bought right at 30 on Gurney. So over time, the plan will be, because I get asked this all the time, we're going to move everything. Yeah, the idea is that there's enough land there. There's actually a little more than what we have at the current campus. But everything would move. The master plan shows the football field, baseball, softball, all of that at the new campus, an elementary gym, the whole package. But what we had the funds to do to start with were the main building that you see, obviously, from Gurney, which is big enough to house 6 through 12, and then the new gym. And we better be moving athletics to that new gym when it's done, or somebody's going to be in trouble. But we're probably one of the last schools, I would assume, in the state that still had a non-air conditioned gym. I said it gave the home court advantage, but all the parents didn't agree. But you go in there and volleyball and sweat to death. But so anyway, all the current fields would stay at Centera Court until the funds are raised to play over there. As far as the building itself and the gym, like Brother Martin said, the classrooms are, it's just going to be such an upgrade over what we had in the original buildings. Much less the temporary building. So it's going to be just an upgrade. We're going to have, large interactive smart boards in every classroom, have a nice library, student life area for the kids, the gym, large lobby area that we'll be able to do some smaller sport events in and have banquets and stuff there. The gym, the floor, and the court are all going to be, super nice, multiple practice basketball goals, cross courts for basketball and volleyball, locker rooms, the whole 9 yards. So it's really going to be an upgrade for us from a facility standpoint. Obviously, it's going to be inconvenience because it's not all at one campus, which is a huge selling point for our school, having the older kids and young kids there together to interact. Is those those young kids see those juniors and seniors in football jerseys, that's a big deal. So, Brother Martin and those guys are going to have to figure out how to keep that interaction going while we're separated until we raise that money to move everybody. But the blessing is we're a mile and a half down the road, so it's not like it's across town. So, but the facilities are coming along, as Brother Martin said. The weather is really hurting the contractor on finishing the parking and the civil work, outside site work, if you will, to be able to get us there. The classroom building it's going to be on schedule. They're putting in drop ceiling, and all the classroom floors are done. So they're making really good progress there. The gym got delayed. We made a change early on a little bit and expanded a little bit, made it a little bit bigger, and then they ran into, with all the material supply chain issues going on, getting some of the materials they needed on time to do what they needed to do. So it is probably mid-October-ish before that'll be done. I'm hopeful that they would, if Brother Martin keeps praying for us, we can finish volleyball in there at least the last couple games. And volleyball, I'm changing gears too, Dave, all over the place. But Coach Lorio was talking about some of the things, and Gordy did, about selling our school. And volleyball is one of those things, back to that whole move from MAIS to LHSA. It was travel. It was a lot of reasons. And it was a marketing and just a lot of positives from the move. And one of those was volleyball. We didn't have volleyball before. And I think Coach Tommy started that the first year, and I don't know, 12, 14 kids, whatever he played the first season with. And this year, Brother Martin, our coach, would have to correct me, but I think it's over 30. We've got a varsity team, a JV team, and a freshman team for girls volleyball. So there's been a lot of positives that have come along with, and my daughter plays. It's been a blessing for her. It's a lot of the girls that play. It's just such an added value that we were able to do making that move, much less not having to do all the travel during the midweek games. But anyway, the buildings are coming along nicely. It's just going to be an upgrade for what we had. Again, the cinder block metal buildings that we had over there, a non-air conditioned gym. We did have a wood floor that we lost in the flood, obviously, but still, it's going to be just a tremendous facility upgrade from what our parents and students are used to. And there's a lot of other things, as Brother Martin said, going on in the world that are helping, but having nice facilities. Somebody said that once before, it's got to be a hard sell bringing people to temporary buildings. And it was, but once they got there and felt the environment and the atmosphere, it usually was a good sell. But this just takes that facility issue off of the table for us. So I don't know, I might be rambling, but I can't think of anything else to bring. Gordy, I don't know if you had anything specifically you wanted to.
No, that's good. You got to hit mute now. Good. You got to hit mute now. Coach, I wanted to bring, that's fantastic. And I've driven by and I've seen the plans. I think it's really exciting times for CPU over there. Coach Lorio, I wanted to bring you in. I've known Coach for a long time. Been a lot of places. Hall of Famer, won a state championship down at Thibodeau High School. And what's that?
Thibodeau High School.
I said Thibodeau, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thibodeau High School back in the day. And Coach, I texted you and all the downtimes, and I had a chance to get out and see some high school football. What a special atmosphere on Friday night. And I'm happy that you're moving. But I'm not happy because that in the back of the school, back up against the woods, it really creates such a great atmosphere. So from somebody that obviously you've been a lot of places, how would you describe the culture that is Central Private?
Well, I've been around some big schools and been blessed to have all of those things going, but there's something special about a small school. Every student athlete, every coach, every parent, every fan is more important because we don't have huge numbers. So when we get gathered there in the back, that field has seen some exciting football games all the way back to 80, 81, and then on through the years, had a couple of state runner-ups back there. So it's a little unique. We'll still be playing on that field for some years, but a smaller school, a lot more opportunity. And that's one thing that we make sure everybody's aware of. So that's a selling point for us. If you don't mind, I was going to run through what the accomplishments of our athletic teams were last year in our first year being eligible for playoffs.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So Brendan mentioned volleyball. Not only did we have 2 teams, we're going to have 3, but our first LHSA championship program was our volleyball team, who qualified for the playoffs and won a road playoff game against Crescent City in New Orleans. So we were by-district champs in our first year. That was our first championship. So we were super excited about that. One group I want to mention at the top, sometimes it gets overlooked, is our cheer. We have a young lady named Shore Flurry, and at the UCA camp this year, we were second in the sideline performance, and we were first in the cheer performance, and we were the overall game day champion. And in that rating system, 5 of our 7 senior cheerleaders made All-American. So we have a vibrant cheer program at the high school level and the middle school and Biddy. Sometimes at the Biddy level, we have more cheerleaders. We may have 30 football players. We may have more cheerleaders than football players because everybody's out there. Speaking of Biddy football, with this last year being so unusual with the challenges, believe it or not, we had 4 or 5 different, I won't mention exact names, parochial schools that were not allowed to play in their normal areas in Baton Rouge. They came and played at Central Private in Silliman. So we had some Saturdays where there were 3 or 4 games, and it was packed from 9 in the morning till about 1 o'clock, and got a lot of great feedback from people, many who had never been to Central Private or out in this area. So the cheer, the volleyball did very well. Football, we came up a little short, a few spots out of the playoffs, and things were so unusual. We had 2 games that we felt were very winnable that out of our control. Hey, coach, we have problems. We can't make it. We're out this week, or one school's a boarding school. We can't play this week. There was 2 games that we felt strongly that we would win, would have put us right on the edge of the playoffs. So we're going to try and make that step this year. On a very positive note, of our senior class that just graduated, 89% of the boys in that senior class play football. We definitely want to increase our numbers, but 89% in a given class is pretty darn impressive. So we have a lot of young men that are trying to help the team. I always say, if I'm playing baseball or basketball, I want you to help me in football. I'll help you in basketball and baseball, kind of thing. At a small school, getting each other to come out and give us more numbers is a big thing. Cross country, we had a middle school cross country. We had some 8th graders that placed in state track meet that ran middle school cross country. So next year, with Luke James, a former Central Private student, we're going to start our cross country program at the varsity level. So that kind of completes the fall sports. Excuse me. Sorry. And then in basketball and girls basketball, we won district in both of those. We have the best full athletic program in District 6-1A. There's some other schools that are very outstanding in 1 or 2 sports, but they don't play all the sports. We have a full across-the-board athletic program now that we're adding cross-country, as you'll see. So basketball, we win district due to one team being disqualified, and it happened so late we didn't get to go to the playoffs. Girls basketball boys basketball is Garrett Deschamps. Did a very nice job for a first-year coach. Have a lot of good talent coming back. Girls basketball, Julie Hawkins, former Central Hall of Fame athlete and LSU softball standout, became our head girls basketball coach, and we won district in our first year. I believe we only had 9 girls, and we looking for more numbers there. We have 10 this year, and we have numbers on our middle school, which is an area we're trying to increase. So we were district champs in Julie's first year, and we're looking to go another step this year. Our soccer program is under Estuardo Silva. He was a very successful coach at Ronald's Academy, and when they closed, we were able to get Coach to come. He's in the process of building a program, much like Coach Thomas Skelly did from scratch. 3 years ago, we didn't have volleyball. 2 years later, we're by-district champs and have numbers. We may have a practice at the new gym. We may have freshmen at the old gym, the current. I mean, we have numbers. So that program is building very, very successfully. Powerlifting, Brennan Corville. It's a spring, winter kind of sport. We finished 6th in the state in our first official powerlifting entry. We had an individual state champ at 165 pounds, Rory Seguin. He was the individual state champ in our first time out, so we see a good future there. In the spring sports, baseball with Seth Stevens, we were district champs. We were by-district champs after beating Central Catholic Morgan City on the road. We lost the first game. And the second game was epic, 1-0. Their pitcher was terrific. Ours struck out 16, and we were able to win the game 1-0. Came back and beat them to advance to go to Calvary Baptist, and had 2 hard-fought games to go to the state tournament. Calvary Baptist went to the state tournament. We have a lot coming back in baseball. We have a lot of numbers there, too. Softball, Jen Browning had a very young team. We started a freshman pitcher in most of our games. We had only 13 girls, plenty of opportunity. 5 of them were 8th graders. So we have some talented young people in softball that is going to grow. Track and field, Brendan Corville, the girls, first time out, district champs. 7 girls won the district championship, and 3 or 4 of them are 8th graders. So you know how the sports work. Some people are going to go out and play no matter what, the field, the team, the numbers. But if you have a little success, there's some people right over there. Man, I want to get some of that. I want to be part of that. And we think that's going to happen for us this year. So we're off to a good start there with track. We also have boys track and field. Golf, Robbie Mafus does a good job with our golf team. We had 1 qualify for state, Mr. Browning, and he'll be returning. I think he's a sophomore. And then we started another program this year with a little urging from Brother Robert and a little urging to get a great competitor like Julie Hawkins to start our tennis program. Didn't hurt that Brother Robert has a young lady that wanted to play tennis. So with all the need, Julie says, okay, I'll start tennis. So we started and competed as a new program. So nobody else in our district has all those sports. And we were pretty darn successful. Sometimes in society today, everybody says, well, you didn't do that, or you didn't do this, or it's the ESPN moment. We didn't win 10 state championships. We competed very effectively. Those coaches, those student athletes, and those parents overcame a temporary facility, all the complications like everybody else had to deal with. So I am very proud of what we accomplished last year. And I don't think it's unreal expectation that we're going to do as well and maybe a little better next year, picking up some numbers of people moving in. And again, one of the best selling points, along with the family atmosphere, the new facility, is we're not a big school. When you come there, there's opportunity. And looking forward to and excited about the year coming up.
Well, you mentioned the last year. Brother Martin, we talked a little bit before the show. Tell us about the COVID effect on education and your school in general. How did you weather that this last year?
Thank you, Dave. I think we did very well because we didn't have to shut down any. Like I know a lot of schools had to shut down for a week or two because of cases. We had some cases, but not an exorbitant number. We did the basic things. We did masking between classes, transitioning. Once we got into our classes, they were able to take their masks off. So the majority of the day, they weren't masked. We have had a lady who went around cleaning throughout the day, spraying, and I think that had a good effect because her job was doing that all day long. So all the bathrooms, doorknobs, all that type of thing. So we did what we needed to do. I wouldn't say we were overzealous like some perhaps, but we did what we needed to do to be compliant. And but we were very blessed in regards to, again, not having to stop school. We started face-to-face. We ended face-to-face. So a lot of people are just, we didn't do any virtual. We did all face-to-face from day one all the way through the process. Did not have to shut down for any days or anything like that. So we're thankful for that. We feel like that we were able to weather that and get through that, and looking forward to even a greater year coming. I wanted to mention concerning the numbers, one thing too. This past year we had 30 seniors graduated, and as I said, we're around the 480 mark. We feel like we're going to bump up even some more as we go through the month of July, because we typically do. But just an example, we had to add a K-3 class this year. We added a kindergarten. We have 3 instead of 2 kindergarten classes. And this year in our freshman class coming in, we have close to 50, which is a large class for us. I don't remember the last time we had a class that had maybe 50. So our freshman class will be right at 50. Right now we're at 47, I think. And that's attributed to some kids have coming from Central Intermediate as 8th graders coming in. We have some from Victory. We got a good number from Victory that are coming this year, and a lot of these are athletes, so we feel like they're going to benefit us and help us not just numerically but also in athletics and things like that. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
let me ask you, Brother Martin. One of the things that surprised me is going around Baton Rouge and extended areas and seeing the number of people outside of Central that have children that go to Central privately, really do regionally.
Yes, sir. We have a sizable number from Livingston Parish in the Denham area. We have more coming from Zachary. Matter of fact, we're doing tours now. We're doing every week. We have tours and testing, and there seems to be a lot from the Zachary area right now. So we have some kids coming from Zachary. We have them all the way out, as I said, in Denham, Walker, of course, Central and Baton Rouge. So we have a wide net. And that's what I was saying. I feel like with the new things we're doing with our new facility and improving our academics, and most of our athletic coaches are young. So they're developing, they're going to get better and better, these young coaches that we have. You mentioned Julie Hawkins. That was Julie Weiss at Central. And she's on their Hall of Fame for softball. But anyway, so I feel like we've got some real good young coaches that are in, Seth, Garrett, her, and others. So that's going to help us. So what I feel like is happening is we have a pull. We have a pull from what we're offering by the unique things that we're offering in the faith-based and as Coach Lorio said, people being able to participate in athletics if they're interested. There's something for them to do. Our academics are at a good high level, and we're increasing that too. But so there's something, all this is pulling people our way. New facility, the beautiful state-of-the-art facility we have, that's pulling people. But also there are things I think happening in the public school arena that are pushing them. So it's kind of a push-pull. We're pulling, and other things are pushing them our way. And our future is bright. Our best days are ahead of us. What we're going to accomplish, what we're going to do is going to be the talk of the town. I feel like people are going to be talking more and more about Central Private from every aspect of what we have to offer.
Well, I got to tell you, you're about 3 blocks from my house, and I pass by there frequently, one of my dad's and my daughter's houses. And just seeing that facility almost every day, there's a feeling about Central Private that I guess over the years it's been great. It's a great legacy school and a lot of family involvement and a lot of committed people, and it's a grassroots, and it's a part of our community. But there's a feel about the way Central Private is going right now, and there's been years where you wondered, how long will Central Private be open? My question now is, how big will Central Private get? It's just a very, very different feel.
And I agree with you.
I was going to chime in real quick. I know I don't want to be the echo causer, but Dave, I think you're absolutely right. And up until, especially after the flood, I guess there were plenty of times people would ask us, is it going to make it, or is Central Private still around? And joining LHSA was a whole nother. Forget the sports side of it, the marketing. There were people we played from Denham, the middle school in Denham and Live Oak, and different schools we played in middle school sports and even high school sports local that had never been to the campus on Centerra Court. Never, and I've lived in this area my whole life and never been back in here. So the location, the exposure that brings, and just what you just said, there's been several people in the last, which, like I said, especially after the flood, or how much longer is Central Private going to be around? Is that school still open? To where now we had parents and families concerned to like, oh my gosh, how big are y'all trying to make it? And just to answer that question, the school, the whole master plan, the whole setup is really only set up to grow to about 750, tops 800 kids. And as we, so people worried like, how big, and that's it. I mean, we've kind of done the research and seen the successful schools, single A, double A schools that we feel like we fit are in that range, 700 to 800 kids. And at that size, it gives you enough to participate in lots of different clubs, sports, all that kind of stuff. But still small enough where everybody knows everybody. I think, though, and Brother Martin could correct me if I'm wrong, I think through middle school grades, the cap is going to be about 50 kids a grade. And as you move to 9 through 12, it's about 60 kids per grade is the cap. I mean, that's what we're designing the classrooms, the number of classrooms and all that for is that number. But you're right. And I think the location, the sports association, all that is starting to change that narrative of, are they still around? Do they still exist? To the interest is really, really peaked, and it's a little bit of a buzz around town about the new school. And what's interesting is we are positioned in a great place, and a lot of our students, as Brother Martin said, come from Zachary. Not as many probably from Central. We got a great school, public school system there, but Denham and some of those larger public school districts, we're able to pick up some of those kids. So it's just a unique environment that I think the location, the new buildings, all put to rest that concern of, is Central Private still viable? Because I think it is. So, and I do want to back up real quick, Dave, to the COVID thing. I'll give Brother Martin some props here. As board members, we have to worry about stuff and liabilities, and so we probably were way more concerned about some of that than maybe we needed to be or should have been. But we have to worry about those things, and he stayed calm and I run at a different level probably at trade than I do it and than Brother Martin does, but he did a great job of staying the course. They did the basics, the daily temperature checks, and did all the things that we needed to do, but we didn't go overboard. And I think it was a win for our kids because we didn't have the virtual stuff. Everybody was there in person, in classroom settings. The numbers of kids, they spread out desks, they did the basics, and Brother Martin and the rest of the teachers and administration did a great job of that. To, parents pay tuition to come there, and so you can't just send kids home with a computer and think that's going to cut it. Parents won't go for that, and he did a great job of doing what needed to be done and keeping the kids safe, but being reasonable about it, and everybody getting the value that they felt like they paid for. So I wanted to make sure I threw that in there too. So I'll go back and mute so I don't echo.
No, Brendan, hold tight. I wanted to ask you, my experience, and Coach Lorio asked me to go speak. I saw you out at the football banquet and going to some athletic contests is two things: great family atmosphere and tremendous pride with the alumni. So many legacy kids out there, and got people that I knew in the community didn't know that they were Central Private would all come and tell their stories, and that's certainly something I know is a big part of the Central Private experience.
Yeah, we've teased before. What's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? You can find somebody that's, within seven names. It's actually, well, it's probably 3 or 4 degrees of Central Private. You can always find somebody that taught there. Their kids went there. They married somebody that went there. And it's a small school. Somebody asked me today, how many alumni do we have? And I said, I would, round number, 50 kids per grade, 50 years, 2,500 alums, right? So, I mean, that's just a rough guess. So 2,500 people, but the connections and the amount of people that, like I said, it just seems like everywhere you go, somebody that they know somebody or whatever that went to Central Private. It's a pretty unique thing. And you're right, we do have a lot of legacy families. Obviously, I'm one. And a lot of legacy teachers, faculty. Brother Mark would have to answer that, but it's several that I know that are teaching there, that graduated there. So that's again, I think getting out from the back of that street, Centerra Court, which is, it served us well. And as you talked about, the football stadium, the baseball stadium, those are some pretty special places back there, unique environments. But the exposure of being out there, being visible to so much more traffic is really a game changer for us. So.
Brendan, I'm a homeowner. If my family was Central Private, I can guarantee you my kids would be Central Private. And I traveled all over the country with my dad's job when I was in school, and came back home here to Central. It's the only place I've ever called home. And I had it explained to me that while there may not be as many families at Central Private, it's a type of families that are invested in this community and stay here. So that same mentality of having your kids go to the school you went to and the legacy issue, that's also the people that are taking up mom and dad's business and staying in the trade. No pun intended there, Brendan. And keeping it close to home and not needing to go anywhere, but just stay here in Central. So it's a disproportionate number of people probably that are Central Private alum that are here in our community.
Yeah, I agree. And it's look, it's like any family, right? You have some really good 4th of July dinners, and you don't always get along and see everything eye to eye, but at the end of the day, you're family. And I think you're right. It's people that are connected. If they're in the area, that they may not have their kids there, but they've looked at it. They're still involved some way, some shape or form. It is a very tight knit family.
Well, Brother Martin, you're head of school. Brother Martin, you have any closing comments for us?
Hey, I wanted to say again, I appreciate Coach Lorio and Brendan being with us tonight and what they represent. And as far as the family atmosphere, I know we had a graduate this year whose parents graduated from here and his grandparents graduated from here. So like 3rd generation of graduates from the school. And so that backs up what you're saying about people continuing to be a part here. And we have a very hardworking board, as evidenced by what Brendan is saying. They work very hard. Our administration works very hard. Our teachers work hard. So the people here are working hard to get to the next level. I know it comes in increments and so forth. And all the things that we've been through, all the great things in the past and all the challenges, I thought of it like this, that we've survived, but now we're getting ready to thrive. We're at a point now where we're going to thrive. and Central Private is going to be formidable. It's going to impact a lot of kids' lives, and by virtue of affecting the kids, affecting families, and the whole community as a result. So there can't really be a price placed on the impact that the school has had, or what the impact the school is going to have going forward in so many lives and in the community. And we're looking forward to that. We're excited to be part of it. And as I say, our best days are ahead of us. We've got a lot of things to be thankful for, and we don't discount any of that. We're thankful for that because I have a lot of involved in the past also through my own children, and we're thankful for that. But going forward, we're even more excited about what's going to happen. And it's just a great day to be a part of the Central Private, to be a Red Hawk. We are the Red Hawks, and as Red Hawks, we're soaring to new heights together. That's what we're doing.
Awesome. Look forward to watching it happen. And thanks everybody for being here tonight. Thank you, Gordy. And we'll sign
Thanks,
off.
Dave. Thanks, Gordy.
We'll see you
Thank
next
you, sir.
tonight.
Can I throw one last shot?
Absolutely.
We wrapped up the year. We started a new tradition called Red Hawk Revelry, where we designed a program where every kid that participated, student athlete, in 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring sport. That's a huge contribution, plus every kid that made academic all-state. I think we ended up with 38 kids, so we had a catered crawfish boil at the end of the year, and all those kids that made academic all-state, all those kids that played 3 different sports seasons. We had a great event to wrap up the year. There were 6 people that did both, played 3 sports seasons, fall, winter, spring, and made academic all-state. So we're very proud of the student athletes and the parents and all our coaches, and we're thankful for the opportunity to talk about them tonight. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Gordy.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing everybody again next Monday night on Go Central. Good night.
Thank y'all.
Good night.
Thank you.